There are a few major parts in a speaker that it can't work without. If you cut a speaker in half and look at it sideways, it is a lot easier to see. First, there is a permanent magnet in the back of the speaker. You'll see its function in a little bit. Next, there is a cone that we see from the outside that is vibrating extremely fast. It is also known as the diaphragm. Connected to the cone is a piece of metal that is wrapped in a wire that creates an electromagnet. Now, when you send alternating current through the wire, the electromagnet either wants to repel or attract the permanent magnet. Let's just say that when a positive current is sent through the wire, it repels, and a negative current, it retracts. When the electromagnet attracts or repels, it also pushes and pulls on the cone, which creates sound. Now, the next time you're sitting in your room listening to your favorite song on your brand new speakers, you will be able to describe each piece of the speaker and know that these create sound. But you still aren't so sure on how the parts actually create the sound. When the cone vibrates, the cone creates a wave of higher pressure known as a longitudinal wave. When multiple waves happen in succession, there are spots with greater compression and lesser compression. The distance between the largest compressions of two waves is known as the wavelength, which is symbolized by an upside down Y, the lambda. The frequency is the amount of waves that happen over a certain amount of time. The symbol for the frequency is the little curvy F. The most common unit for frequency is hertz, which is waves per second. So now that we know all about frequency and wavelength, we can apply these concepts to things like how the speaker makes different sounds. The different sounds happen because the speaker creates waves with different frequencies. The faster the vibration of the cone, the smaller the distance between the waves, which is the wavelength, then the higher the frequency. This happens because of the equation velocity equals wavelength times frequency. The velocity of sound is always the same in air, around 340.29 meters per second. Because of this, wavelength and frequency are inversely proportional to each other, meaning that when one increases, the other decreases, and when one decreases, the other increases. When frequency is high, we hear a higher pitch, and when frequency is low, we hear a lower pitch. And that is how we hear different sounds that come out of a speaker, and that is how a speaker works.